So welcome class. Today we are going to discuss about photosynthesis in desert plants. Photosynthesis in desert plants. That's a little different than photosynthesis in green plants usually. Desert plants are also called xeric plants. Xeric plants are the organisms which live in desert. They are called xerophytes usually. Now, before discussing this, since we are done with photosynthesis and second topic was gaseous exchange in plants, now in which we have seen, we have learned how water is regulated. How water is regulated means how endoosmosis and exoosmosis is being done, meaning endoosmosis meaning how water is being entering into the stomatal pore, into guard cells, and how it's leaving guard cells. So endoosmosis and exoosmosis. So when the water is regulated by way of two processes, endoosmosis and exoosmosis, meaning the opening and closing of the stomatal pore. Now, as we know, desert plants, they are usually called xeric plants. They have scarcity of water. These desert plants have scarcity of water. And since temperature is very high during daytime, because if they will open up their stomata, if these desert plants open up their stomata or stomatal pore, all the water will be lost. Because as we know, two conditions of desert. One condition is the temperature is very high. Second condition is that water, there is scarcity of water. So water is very less in these plants. Therefore, they are also having those thorns. Now, if these two conditions are very mandatory here, so let us see that stomata, how it is opening and closing, how the endoosmosis and exoosmosis happens in the desert plants. Now, as we know, desert plants, they have scarcity of water, and since temperature is also very high during daytime, therefore they open up their stomata during night, midnight, usually midnight. Means stomata will open only during midnight, and during daytime it will get closed in order to stop, in order to hinder the water loss. So that means during daytime they keep their stomata closed, and during night what actually happens, we can see by a figure that what actually happens in desert plants. So if we see, one condition is during night, second is during day. During night what happens is the stomata will open up. Stomata will open up. That means endoosmosis will happen during night, and once it opens, carbon dioxide from the environment, from the air, will be retained. It will be retained inside. It will enter inside. So once carbon dioxide enters, suppose this is a plant, and in this, the carbon dioxide enters through stomata, and below this, through roots from soil, water will be retained here. Now during night, it forms this carbon dioxide and water. They form an intermediate. They form an intermediate called malic acid. During night. This whole process happens, and endoosmosis happens during night. And during day, the stomata will get closed. So stomata जो है ये close होगा, and once it's closed, now what happens? This malic acid in presence of sunlight. This malic acid in presence of H nu sunlight, Planck's constant to be precise, इसको हम कहते हैं Planck's constant in physics. So this malic acid will be converted in presence of sunlight into glucose, जो हमें चाहिए, शिद्दत से चाहिए, ये हमें तो glucose चाहिए हमें. So during day, अब स्टोमेटा क्लोज होता है. आई थिंक दिस इज जस्ट लाइक द, इट इज द अपोजिट, इट इज एंटागोनिस्टिक टू द ग्रीन प्लांटस, जिसमें एक्सोओस्मोसिस नाइट में होता है और यहाँ पे एंडोओस्मोसिस नाइट में होता है, वहाँ पे एंडोओस्मोसिस डे में होता है. मीन स्टोमेटा क्लोज्ड इज क्लोज्ड ड्यूरिंग नाइट, यहाँ पे रिवर्स होता है उसका. सो दिस इज द फोटोसिंथेसिस इन डेजर्ट प्लांट्स और xeric plants. So this was all about photosynthesis in desert and xeric plants. Now let's move towards heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now our next topic, that is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now here the organism, it depends on autotrophs for their food supply. So it is the mode of nutrition in which an organism depends on autotrophs or other organisms for their food supply. So this is the mode of nutrition in which an organism depends on autotrophs for their food supply. For example, animals, all animals, comma, fungi, जिसमें हम एग्जांपल लेंगे ब्रेड मोल्ड की, ब्रेड मोल्ड, जिसमें हम एग्जांपल लेंगे यीस्ट की, यीस्ट, जिसमें हम एग्जांपल लेंगे मशरूम की. These three types are in this. Now these two examples, some other organisms show different modes, different types in these heterotrophic. These are also heterotrophs. So some organisms show, first, some show holozoic mode of nutrition. Holozoic nutrition. Some show saprophytic, saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Some show parasitic. Sapropoietic nutrition, some show parasitic nutrition. Now, in this heterotrophic mode of nutrition, we'll see all the animals and fungi. These all include in this heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And now we'll start from first one, that is holozoic mode of nutrition. Now, in the holozoic mode of nutrition, here organism feeds by ingesting solid organic matter. तो उसके बाद उसको break करना है, then it breaks it into the simpler substances. Then we'll move towards saprotrophic and finally to the last one, that is parasitic mode. So first mode is first nutrition, first type of heterotrophic. Similarly, just like autotrophic mode of nutrition, we have divided that, we classified. We are now classifying this also. First one is holozoic nutrition. Now, holozoic nutrition, here the organism, it feeds by ingesting solid organic matter, which is then digested, means broken down, and then absorbed into their body. So here the organism feeds by ingesting solid matter. Feeds by ingesting solid matter. Here the organism feeds by ingesting solid matter, which is then digested and absorbed, into their body. So first क्या होगा, it will feed. उसमें nutrition आएगी. Nutrition means feeding, simply eating and utilizing energy. उसके बाद ingest means eating गई. So this solid matter means all the complex substance, all this food will be, firstly it will be ingested and then digested means broke down होगा. उसके बाद absorb. तो ये प्रोसेस ज़्यादातर ह्यूमंस में होती है. तो उसमें मैन आएगा पहला, मैन, एमोबा भी आएगा इसमें, ठीक, etc. Now these are the examples. And this is multicellular and this is unicellular. Amoeba के साथ पैरामीशियम भी इसमें ऐड कर सकते हैं, that's also unicellular. So these are the examples of holozoic mode of nutrition. उसके बाद हमने इस amoeba को अच्छे से पढ़ना है, nutrition in amoeba and human beings also. ठीक. Now second type is saprotrophic. Saprotrophic nutrition. Here the organism, it derives food. It derives food from the dead and decaying living organisms. So here the organisms feeds on. Here the organism feeds on dead and decaying organic matter. तो dead and decaying organic matter पे feed करता है. here इसमें all the वो detrivorous example आते हैं environment में, they all detrivorous. तो इसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे organisms आएंगे like bacteria जो feed करते हैं किस पे, dead and decaying animal पे और matter पे, जिसमें सब कुछ आएगा. तो for example इसमें usually fungi भी आता है, इसमें fungi, तो इसमें bacteria की example भी include कर सकते हैं. yes, तो कुछ बैक्टीरिया ऐसे हैं, they are saprotrophic in nature. उसके बाद last one is parasitic nutrition. Coming to our third type, that is parasitic mode of nutrition. Parasitic nutrition. Here in the parasitic nutrition, the organism obtains its food either living on the host body or inside the host body. Therefore, there are two types of parasites, either external parasite or internal parasite. So here, an organism derives its food means nutrients, its nutrients by living on or inside the body of host, यानी host के body के ऊपर या उसके अंदर. So therefore there are two types of parasites. One is external parasite, यानी कोई ऐसा organism जो host के body के ऊपर live करता है, and another is internal parasite. External parasite की बहुत सारे examples हैं, suppose lice, suppose leech, suppose इसमें और एक example आती है ticks, जो dogs भी होती हैं, these ticks, they are in dogs. Now these three are the examples of external parasite. These are example of external parasite. And internal parasite में like we have liver fluke, we have tapeworm, yeah, Ascaris lubricoides, which is present inside humans. And these two are the internal parasites like E. coli. Okay? These three are the example of internal parasites. We have other parasites also like orchids, and another is that Cascuta. It's also in Hindi, it's called Amar bell. You can check on page number 189, the last line of your book, of that page. So Amar bell. So Amar bell जो है, it's having its specialty that it is parasitic plant. It is parasitic plant यूजुअली हम सुनते हैं कि पैरासाइट प्लांट जो है दे आर हैविंग क्लोरोफिल, बट दिस कस्केटा, दिस पैरासाइट, दिस प्लांट इज लैकिंग क्लोरोफिल, देयरफॉर ये जो ये पैरासाइटिक प्लांट है इसमें क्लोरोफिल नहीं होता है। सो उस चीज को अब इसको इट नीड्स टू adopt its body on some other species, therefore it becomes parasite. So इसकी nutrition heterotrophic में आती है usually in the parasites. So this is all about our heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now in the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, as we have seen in the holozoic part, that the main example is human being and amoeba. So we will start nutrition in human beings and amoeba separately in the next video. Till then, good luck.